All right, everybody, good late afternoon. I know we're a little bit late here, but we've got plenty of extra time over the next few days, so it's not really that big of a deal. And yeah, pro football focus time. And after a very, very interesting game like the game we played last night, I'm definitely interested to see what PFF has to say. We're going to start with the offense like we always do. I think I'm going to go ahead and do the defense tonight, but I might save it until tomorrow because again, we got time. We're going to have these extra few days here where that we normally don't have. There's not going to be a ton that happens this weekend in all likelihood. So I might save it. We'll see. But yeah, we're going to start with the offense at least for now. And look, 38 points, but 8 of those points came on special teams. 8 of them came in overtime. It was a complicated game for that crew. There was definitely some good stuff, and there is going to be some really cool stuff here to talk about, but there were some trials and tribulations as well. So let's get started. Before we go any further into this video, I want to tell you guys a little bit about my friends over at Sleeper. If you're not using the Sleeper app for daily fantasy football, you are missing out. Get over there. Check out the left side of your screen right now. I've got the app up. Look at all this great stuff you can get up to. Look at all the over-unders you can pick on. I've got an entry for this week. Let's take a look. I got Mike Evans over 60 yards. You know they're going to be throwing him the ball a lot. I got Keenan Allen over 36 yards. You know that he's going to want to try to cash in a little bit here against a weak Dallas defense. Jamar Chase with the anytime touchdown on Miami, and J.J. McCarthy under 189 passing yards. So get on over to Sleeper. You can put together a ticket just like this. Use the promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Check it out. Put together your own ticket and have some fun with sports. Back to the video. Okay, so uh overall top line grade. Nobody's going to be surprised by number 1, and I don't think very many people will be surprised by number 2 either. Ken Walker, in just 30 snaps, by the way, 83.3, did great stuff in the passing game, the running game, and pass blocking, which is big because that has been absent in recent weeks for Seattle and their running backs. So Ken Walker, definitely our best offensive player, kept that game alive when we were on the verge of getting blown out. Ken Walker was the only reason why we were hanging around. Without him, those last 10 minutes plus OT would have meant very little. So, yeah, 83.3, well deserved. JSN is in second place. Not a very good first half, obviously. And there were some. I did hear some complaints from Seahawks fans about JSN in that first half. Maybe he was taking plays off, but he got it together in time for the finish. 78.4, almost 100 yards, caught the game tying, or not tying, but, the pivotal touchdown. Let's call it a pivotal touchdown. Had other good plays as well, good stuff. Number 3, how about this? So, when I was talking about Josh Jones earlier this week, I did say, look, I don't think he's as good as Charles Cross, but he's proven that he can be a pretty decent left tackle in this league. Last time he was given an extensive opportunity to play at left tackle, he did pretty well. His problems come when teams try to play him at right tackle or right guard. You put him in left tackle, and according to PFF, you got a good game, almost a 76 overall. I mean, that works, man. That works. And I thought he played good watching the game as well. Maybe not great, but I thought he was not a problem. AJ Barner, fourth place, 70.7. Graded at the very least capably in every category. Always good to see. Charbonnet up here as well, doing some good stuff as a blocker. Welcome back. This is the Charbonnet we know and love. The run game is, it's not as good as what Walker did, but it's fine. And you also got Abe Lucas. Now, this is kind of the drop-off point, like Charbonnet, 67 basically. He's a 67. And then you go down to Abe Lucas, who's just a couple of points above replacement level. So that's kind of the fall-off point into the more mediocre, I would say. Abe Lucas, Sam Darnold, who had a very, how should I put this? He had a very polarizing game. He had a very complicated game. So it makes sense. Nick Collar up only 1 snap. Robbie Oots, honestly, one of his best graded games of the year because of his pass blocking, but still overall, I don't really know what he's doing on this team right now that's helping all that much, to be perfectly honest. Saubert, despite the game, maybe the season-defining 2-point conversion, not really graded all that well. Did play a lot, so his run blocking was what really hurt him, and blocking is why he's here. So hopefully that's just an aberration or not reflective of reality. Cooper Kupp, I mean, the guy blew some blocks pretty badly, and he had the fumble. Not much saving you at that point, 55.2. Lines up, I think. Shaheed really breaks my heart sometimes. We got this uber talented wide receiver, and there are just some games where we cannot get him the ball for a myriad of reasons. Blame Darnold, blame Kubiak, blame the offensive line, blame somebody, but it keeps happening where we have these games where Shaheed, he still has a big impact on the game, and he certainly did, but not one catch. That's rough, man, especially with an overtime session. Sundell, pretty bad, but not completely unworkable, and sometimes that's just the standard you have to have. And then Gray Zabel, pretty bad. With him, the penalty is obviously part of the problem, but overall, I think he played a bad game. Allowed a sack, allowed some other stuff in pass protection. Continues to be a liability blocking for the run overall. Cody White barely played, so whatever. Not really going to think about that one, but coming in last, everybody's favorite, Anthony Bradford, which I got to be honest, I don't know if I agree. He had the penalty, right? He had the penalty. Other than that, I don't think he was worse than Sundell, and I don't think he was worse than Zabel. I think he was probably better than those two guys. So I understand the penalty weighs heavy, but I don't know, man. I don't know. This strikes me as like, I know that the perception of Anthony Bradford is very negative right now, but I did not come away from last night's game feeling like Anthony Bradford was a big problem. Okay, so that's it for the top line. Mostly within expectation, within reason. I'm not against it. Passing grade page. Only thing I really care to look at here. Big time throws. He had 2. Been a little bit light on the big time throws lately, so this is good to see. And turnover worthy plays. I mean, he had 2. I think we all know which ones they were. They were the ones that were also turnovers. His average depth of target was down, but that's what I wanted in this game. I think that if anything, it should have been a little bit lower. I think that an A dot of like sub 6 actually would have been perfect for this game, but I mean, what he did, I guess, was good enough to eventually find a way to win. But that's how you attack this Rams defense most of the time. I think just play the Mac Jones game. If Mac Jones can do it, so can you. Passing chart, hit a couple of throws deep to the outside right here, so that's nice. Seeing that come back a little bit. Used the intermediate part of the field fairly well. 4 out of 6 completions for 60 yards, pretty strong. And then he tries to use the short middle a lot, but it goes very poorly for him. Both of his interceptions were short middle. And for the first time in a while, we actually utilized behind the line of scrimmage a lot. It only really worked on one play, but I will say that even though it didn't always produce a lot of yards, fundamentally, I do think throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage like this a decent amount is the right thing to do against this Rams team. For assorted other reasons, it seems like it didn't work great, but I do feel like fundamentally that is what you want to do. So that is what I can say about Darnold. It was a complicated game, right? And people are feeling a variety of emotions about Darnold right now. And I mean, it's not an easy thing to figure out. It's just not. And right now, he came through when we really needed it. And I am a big believer in the idea that quarterbacks determine their value at the end of close games. Receiving grade chart, only thing I care about here is slot percentage. Kind of back to normal this week. Cooper Kupp played not most of his snaps in the slot, but 16, so he led the team. Shaheed actually second place, JSN third place. So we're kind of back to more typical stuff here where JSN doesn't play in the slot hardly at all. Less than 20% of his snaps came as a slot man. 35 of them were wide. And he obviously didn't have his best game or anything, but he did have a good game, so nothing really radically changing here. So good stuff. Receiving versus coverage, and this is what I like to see. He's matched up on everybody. He's getting an opportunity to go after Josh Wallace in coverage, going after Darius Williams, Kobe Durant, Emmanuel Forbes, cornerbacks, sure. But he's He's also getting matched up on a safety here. Jalen McCullough. Getting matched up on Cameron Kinchins. Getting matched up on a linebacker. Nate Landman. Even on one play, although this did not work out at all, getting matched up on a defensive tackle. So this is one of the things I really look for Kubiak to do when this offense is at its best, and he did it last night, for sure. There might be other things that Kubiak didn't do so well, but this went very well. Rushing by direction, pretty inconsistent. You had a lot of things that did not work at all, and then some things that worked really well. Off left end, kind of a disaster. 10 yards on 5 carries. Left tackle, gap between tight end and tackle. 2 yards on 1 carry. Middle right, so that's between Sundell and Bradford, 1.5. And I think that's really about it. I guess we were not super productive on our quarterback scrambles, but that's not really something that we depend on from week to week anyway. But then you also had left guard, only 1 attempt, but 9 yards. Middle left, 4 carries, 6.5 yards per, and a touchdown, so that's quite good. Right guard, which is the gap between Bradford and Lucas, it's mostly one big play, but 2 carries, 59 yards, still really good. Right end, pretty decent, 4.3. The jet sweep was a 31-yarder, so that's great too. And yeah, that is what we're looking at right now. It's just kind of inconsistent all over the place. It's hard to really learn anything. The main problem I see is that we just can't trust our run blocking. We have a decent rushing attack right now. We have good running backs. We produce, but we cannot have confidence that we're going to pick up that 4th and 2 by giving the ball to Ken Walker, because you never know when somebody on that line is going to completely blow their block and completely ruin the play. Okay, pass protection stuff. Not great overall yesterday. Not the worst. I've definitely seen worse, but there were definitely issues. Darnold got sacked 4 times in that game. 3 of those sacks were attributed to an offensive lineman. 2 to Grace Zabel. So if you're wondering why he had such a bad grade in this game, make no mistake, unlike some previous games where I felt like he didn't totally deserve it, he deserved every bit of it this week. And Bradford also allowed a sack, which I actually didn't notice, but it does kind of make sense when you look at that, why he got such a bad grade. He's a right guard, and he allowed 3 pressures and a sack total. Like, that's not okay. You also had 4 pressures allowed by Jalen Sundell, which is untenable. He's a center, for crying out loud. A center should not be allowing 4 pressures in a game ever. Honestly, a right guard shouldn't be allowing 3 pressures in a game either. It's just not how the position works. Other than that, though, honestly, other than the interior, man, Abe Lucas, clean, 1 pressure allowed. Everybody else, fine. Josh Jones, 2 pressures allowed, but, he's playing the blind side. I'll live with 2 pressures allowed. So, really, really good. All right, so got that on lock. Pretty good. Run blocking, again, the only thing I really look at here is zone v gap. We can see 10 run blocking snaps in zone, 7 in gap. So we went back to favoring zone. Not by a big amount, though. We did do a good amount of both. And I do think this team is at its best when it does zone, but with Charles Cross out of the game, I think there could be an interest in maybe swinging back the other way for a little bit. All right, that's it for that's it for our week 16 game. That's it for last night offensively. Again, maybe I'll post a defensive PFF video tonight. If not, I'll post it tomorrow, probably pretty early, but keep an eye out. I will see you guys soon. Go Hawks, and everybody have a great rest of your day.